Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for another video. Today I'm going to be doing my very overdue June wrap up. The days have just been flying by. I have no idea how we got here. The time is just going so quickly this year. I think I say that every year, but every year it seems to get faster. I read 11 books in June and I'm just going to go through each one and tell you guys my thoughts and my rating, and then I will go through some reading plans for this month, what I've still got on the schedule. So for the 11 books I read this month, 2 were ebooks, 4 were audiobooks, and the other 5 were physical books. And my average rating was a 3.8. A pretty high rated month, lots of good stuff in here, so let's get into it. Okay, the first book I finished this month was The Tapestry of Fate by Shani Chakraborty. It's the second book in the Amina Al-Sarafi series. I read the first book in this series last year and it was a 5-star read. I absolutely loved that book. So I was so excited for this one. I have the first book in paperback, so I really want this one in paperback so they can go together on the shelf. So I really didn't want to buy the hardback, but I could not wait like a year for the paperback to come out to find out what happens in this book because I was so hyped for it. So I have a BookBeat subscription and I just thought I would listen to it for a first read, and then when it comes out on paperback I can get it and then give it a reread then. I won't go too much into the plot of this book specifically since it's a sequel, but it is a female pirate captain fantasy story. So fun, just such a great world. I really enjoyed being back in this world with these characters. I was having the time of my life listening to this. I really liked the way it was written. I really like the way Shani Chakraborty writes, and I thought the narrator of the audiobook did a great job. I was really enjoying my experience listening to it. There was these wee interlude chapters in amongst the main story giving us some background, and they were like very tonally different, quite dark, and I really liked that, different kind of writing, and I thought they really added so much to the story. I said this in my mid-year wrap-up video, but this sequel made me like characters that I didn't even like in the first book, and I was just so into the story. I had that feeling like I couldn't wait to listen to the next bit. I was having so much fun. I did find some bits quite predictable. A few of the twists you could kind of see coming from a mile away, but my enjoyment of the book as a whole, it was still a 5-star enjoyment. I just really enjoyed it. The end was crazy. I need the next book immediately. So if we could please speed that up, that would be so great. Really loved this. I'm so happy it was 5-star because it was one of my most anticipated reads for the year, and I'm just so glad to have read it. I'm so excited for the rest. I have the first book of The City of Brass by Shani Chakraborty as well, and I can't wait to read that one now that I know that I love her writing. I'm so happy that I have this other world that I can also jump into, and I've heard amazing things about that series as well, so super excited for that. The second book I finished in June is another second in a series, Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. This is the second book in the Farseer trilogy. You cannot see that. Again, I won't go too much into the plot since this is part of a series. I don't want to give any spoilers, especially because I feel like loads of people are reading this just now. It's been all over my social media. It really influenced me to want to read them because I've not seen a bad review. Everybody loves this series and I can so see why. I had finished the first book in May, so those thoughts on that one are in my May wrap up. I rated that one a 4.5. Was so excited to go into the second book, and I think this is my favourite of the 3. I enjoyed it so much. Now that we've had the world building and set up the politics and the characters in the first book, you're right back into it in the second book, and I really enjoyed it. I was hooked from the very start to the very end. I'd read quite a lot of big fantasy in a row, as you can see, so when I was starting this one I thought I'll do like a little palette cleanser book in between before starting the third one. When I got to the end of this one I was like, no, I had to start the third one right away. I literally closed this and got the third one. This is my favourite book of the series. It's so good. The whole series is amazing, but I think this is definitely my favourite. I rated it 5 stars. So of course the next book I finished in June was Assassin's Quest, book 3 of the Farseer trilogy, and I enjoyed this one as well. Was so excited to get into it. I just absolutely devoured this series. The thing about this one is a thing that tends to happen to me in the final book of a trilogy or a big series like this, where we've established the setting and the characters so much in the first and second book, and I've got to know them all, and I'm so excited to see what happens. And then the setting of this one's different. Obviously it's Quest, I'm not going to give anything away, but you're kind of away from the stuff that you've got used to in the first two books, and I did find myself getting quite impatient for us to kind of get back to the stuff that I wanted to know about. I mean, it wasn't like it was boring. There was loads happening and I thought it was all really good, but I was getting a bit impatient. Like, the book is very long, and you know, I was getting a bit impatient for us to get back to the main plot that we'd set up in the first two books. This is not a good comparison, but another kind of trilogy that I felt that way about is like in the Hunger Games, you know, like in Mockingjay, you've had the Hunger Games and stuff in the first two, and then the third one's so different. You're kind of like, can we get back to the stuff that I was so interested in from the first two? So that was the only thing. It just made this one just a tiny bit less on the rating than the second one, which I enjoyed so much. I gave this one a 4.5, same as I gave the first book. So it was still really, really good, still really, really liked it. It rounded off the series really well. I feel like this trilogy really sets up this big world Robin Hobbs created really well. There were a couple of crazy moments towards the end. I was like, is this really what we're doing? I'm sure if you've read it, you will know what bits I'm talking about. I was like, okay, this may as well happen. But overall, amazing series. If you've been seeing this everywhere and you're thinking of giving it a go, give it a go. I think it's really fun, interesting, loads of interesting dynamics, loads of interesting characters. Really, really enjoyed it. So glad that I've read this trilogy. Book number 4 that I finished for June was 5 by Ilona Bannister. I read this for Books and Lala's Literally Dead book club, and she asked me to be part of the live show for this month. So that was so exciting. It was so much fun. Everyone was so nice. And you can still watch that video over on her channel if you want to get more in-depth, kind of like step-by-step thoughts of the book. I'll give you kind of like my brief thoughts in this video. This is a thriller about a group of people on a train platform. The train's arriving in 5 minutes and you know someone's going to die, but you don't know who. And we go into 5 of the characters' backgrounds, but in their POV in different chapters. And then in between those POV chapters, we have what's happening on the platform that's going to lead to this death that we know is coming. I've never read any Ilona Bannister before, so I didn't really know what to expect with this, but I really enjoyed it. I found it a really quick read, and the tone of the writing on the platform bits of the book is so different to the way the POV chapters were written, which I thought was like really interesting. Once we got into the POV chapters for the characters, I realised this book is darker than I was expecting, more emotional than I was expecting it to be. I really liked how it was taking me by surprise in that way. I would say that after so much build up to the final big reveal of what is going to happen, it felt just a wee bit anticlimactic. I would wish something a little bit more dramatic had happened. I know that that wasn't the point of the book. I know what it was doing. I don't want to give too much away. That would be my only thing. I really enjoyed my experience reading the book. It was fun to know that I was doing the live show. I was taking notes and stuff as I was reading. That was fun. Yeah, I really liked it. A fun, quick read. I gave it 4.25 stars. The next book I finished was another audiobook, and it was Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams. This is about 2 girls who are going caving. They go down into the cave and there's a guy down there and he's really weird. And then he's like dangerous. And it cuts between that, telling us what happened in the cave, and then one of the girls is in the hospital talking to the police 24 hours later, telling this story. So we know things have gone very badly wrong. This sounded so dark and unsettling. I was so interested. And I was liking it at the start. I liked the vibes at the start. It was weird right away. There was clearly stuff going on right away. But very quickly it became so predictable. Like I knew pretty soon into the book what the ending was going to be, and once that happens I just find reading the rest such a drag, and I just really struggled to lock in with this one. I just found it too predictable, and I was right, so I don't think it would be just me. I've not really had I've not really seen a lot of other people reviewing this book to know, but I found it super predictable, and it just meant that I didn't really feel fully engaged with the rest of the book because I knew what was going to happen. So the like tension wasn't there, if that makes sense. So yeah, I understand why people would like this book. It just wasn't for me, unfortunately, and I ended up giving it 2 stars. Okay, the next 2 books are ebooks that I got from the library on the BorrowBox app, and these are both part of the Shadowhunters universe. I think I've said before that the final trilogy in the Shadowhunters universe is starting this year, and in 2024 I read all 20, I think it was, at that point, of the books that were currently out that were part of the Shadowhunters universe, and I had the time of my life. So since I did that, there's been 3 more books that have come out. The first one that I read from the library is The Secrets of Blackthorn Hall, and it follows Emma and Julian. They go to London to clear out the old Blackthorn house, and it's haunted. It's all written in letters and messages between all the characters, and I loved that because I know these characters, so it was so fun to just see them all chatting to each other and meeting up and having a good time. This was fun because the Blackthorn house in London is a place that is visited in the historical series. It gives another reason to connect the characters from the historical time period with the characters in the present day. Get Tessa involved because she obviously knows all of them. Get Jem involved. Get Magnus involved. We're always getting Magnus involved, and he's my favourite character. So thank God he's also like Cassandra Clare's favourite character because he's in every single book. I had a lot of fun reading this. I will read anything in this universe. I really, really enjoy it. So fun and relaxing for me to go in with these characters again, get a little bit more pieces of the story in the run up to this new trilogy that's starting. I think it was a good way to kind of put in some bricks for the way this series is going to go. So yeah, super, super fun. Had the time of my life, rated it 4 stars. Okay, the next one I read was A Sea Change. This one is Matthew from The Last Hours, and he is travelling, he's on a big boat, and there's vampires on the boat, and there's another Shadowhunter on the boat, so they're kind of trying to figure out the vampires together. I really, really liked Matthew's character in The Last Hours, so it was really fun to revisit that part of this universe. And it's also a queer romance, so gays, the sea, vampires, like, it couldn't be more for me. I will say, as part of like the wider universe, I don't understand why this was written. I think she was just having fun, and it really was fun. Really, really short, cute, like murder mystery vibes. I really liked it. Obviously these characters are the hit from the olden days, so they can't be coming back unless something crazy happens. But I'm hoping that the fact that there's this wee extra story means that maybe we'll hear a wee mention of them again or something, because I did think this was really fun, even if it was pointless. I don't mind. I just like this universe and I like that character, so I had a good time. I rated it 3.5. The next book I finished was another audiobook. It was One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. This is a queer romance about our main character. She meets a woman on a train and they really like each other, and then she realises this woman cannot get off the train. She is stuck on there and she is not from this time. She has been in a time slip situation. She can't get off the train. She's from the olden days. So crazy. If you watch my wrap-ups before, you know every single month I come on here and I talk about at least one contemporary romance audiobook that I have listened to and thought was just okay, because I get really nosy, and when movies are coming out and stuff, I really want to know what's going on. But for this one, I actually really had a lot of fun with it. I really liked the kind of mystery vibe to this one, the like speculative fiction kind of vibe, the time travel stuff and the weird stuff that was going on. There was like enough going on that I was just really interested and really enjoying it, and I actually like wanted these main characters to end up together. I also really enjoyed the found family vibes of this. Like, the characters are all really fun. They talk so silly and cheesy sometimes, but I didn't mind. I was enjoying it. I liked them. it was a cool group and it seemed like a fun time. So yeah, pleasantly surprised. I really had a fun time with this one and I rated it a 3.75. Okay, the next book that I finished in June was my first spinny wheel pick since finishing the Farseer trilogy, and it was Bone of My Bone by Joanna Van Veen. This was my first Joanna Van Veen and I've been really interested in reading her stuff for a while. I've heard a lot of great things about it and I'm glad to have read this one. I had a good time. This is a queer horror and it's set in 1600s Germany. There's a war going on and it's based on a real war, and there was information about the actual war in the book, which I really enjoyed. I find that really interesting, and I think it shows that the author was interested in the subject and like researched it, and I appreciate that. In the book we have a nun who's running away from a convent for safety. She nearly gets attacked and is saved by another girl who's also running away. And they find this skull, special skull, and they think it's the skull of a saint, and if they find the body and put the skull back with the body, they will be granted a wish. And they are going through it, it's war. So they have wishes they want granted. So they decide they're going to team up and they're going to go on this journey together to try and find the body. We also get another bit where we see there's an evil guy following them. He's like evil necromancy man, bad guy, and he wants the skull and he's looking for them and they don't know, but we know he's coming after them, so that's very tense. This was super dark and emotional and gory, and I really enjoyed the complexity of the characters. They have really different beliefs, and seeing their two POVs on what's going on and how they think about the events of the book was really interesting to see their differences there and how they align and how they disagree. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a really cool dynamic. I wouldn't say this blew me away. I wasn't like, wow, that was unbelievable. I really thought it was well done and interesting and dark, and I enjoyed it. I'm definitely interested in reading more from Joanna Van Veen soon, because I really enjoyed the vibes, and I rated it 3.75. The next book I finished in June was the pick for my in-person book club that I go to, and it was The Artist by Lucy Steeds. I had heard loads of good things about this because of it winning the Waterstones debut prize last year, but I didn't think it would necessarily be for me. So I was kind of going into it a little bit sceptical over whether I would like it or not, but actually I ended up really enjoying it. This is about a journalist from England who's really interested in art, and he travels to Provence in France in the 1920s to find this reclusive artist that no one's ever been able to get an interview with, and he manages to convince the artist to let him come and stay with him and see how he works, and in exchange the artist can paint him for a portrait that he's been looking for the right person for. So the main character, the journalist, he stays at the house with the artist and his niece, and the two POVs we get are the journalist and the niece. And I found this so atmospheric. The writing was so descriptive, and the nature and the food and the summer, I felt like I was there, like I could really see everything so clearly. I really loved the way it was written. The book is really about how much we let people, especially men, get away with because of their talent or their celebrity status, and how it's so much harder, and even more so at this time, for women to break into industries that are completely dominated by men and be taken seriously and be listened to. And honestly, that's all still so relevant today, and I felt it extremely relevant at the time the World Cup was on and we were seeing all these horrible men be idolised on the TV and be allowed to have worldwide fame despite everybody knowing these horrible things that they've done. The way it was written did so much. The writing in this is really good. I don't think I would have been as hooked into the plot if it hadn't been so immersive and atmospheric in the writing. Really liked it. A really good summer read for that reason. I would have liked just a little bit more in the ending. I won't obviously give it away, but I would have liked just, I'm sure anyone who's read this will know what I mean, just a little bit more. A tiny bit more. But I really enjoyed this and I gave it 4 stars. Okay, the final book that I read in June was another queer romance audiobook, and it was Bloomtown by Ali North. And I hate to end this wrap up portion on a negative, but I do not get this. I don't get it. I don't understand what people are talking about when they say this book is really, really good. The plot of this is basically there's a woman on a train and she's kidnapped by these 2 children and a female outlaw, and then they're kind of ransoming her because she has like a rich husband and dad, but she hates them. And then she starts falling in love with the outlaw lady. Very Stockholm syndrome. And all the book is like, oh, I can't believe I have to go back to my husband and my evil dad. But it's like, just don't go then. Like, she would have, like, when she does have to go back, sorry if this is spoilers, when she does have to go back, they have to, like, go together, and, like, that outlaw lady has to take her there. Just don't go. They don't know where you are. Just don't go back. I was really not understanding why she had to go back, and that was, like, a big dilemma. Just don't go. Don't get it. I found out that this is a fanfic of The Haunting of Bly Manor TV show with Danny and the gardener, I forget her name. Amazing TV couple. I really do love that show and I love that couple. However, this was the most fanfic with the names changed book I have ever read. And also listening to the audio, maybe that made it worse for me. I really hated the way the audio was done. The accents were absolutely terrible, and all of Abby, that's the main girl, all her lines were said like she was out of breath, and it was really getting on my nerves. I was like, oh my god, please stop doing that. I really hate being so negative. I'm like, I don't understand this one. I nearly DNF'd it, and I probably just should have. But I really struggle to DNF because I'm always like, well, maybe something's coming that's going to be really good. But I don't know if this is just maybe a situation of people really like this book for the spice, and that I do not. So maybe I'm just looking for something that isn't there with this, which has happened to me before. And maybe is the case. But yeah, this just wasn't for me. Totally, like, if it's for you, if you love it, you love it. And I love that for you. Just wasn't for me. I gave it 2 stars. Okay, that's all 11 books that I read in June, and mostly positives, I think. I had a good time. It felt like I didn't read as much as I did. When I saw it was 11, that didn't feel right, but it was. So that's great, and I do tend to read a little bit more in the summer. I'm a wee bit late to doing this month, so I have already finished a few books and done some stuff, but I will go into a wee bit what I'm reading just now and what I've still got to read for this month. Right now, in preparation for the movie, which I'm going to see next week, I'm reading The Odyssey by Homer, of course. I got the Emily Wilson translation because I heard that it's really, really good, and I really am enjoying it. This is my first time reading it in its entirety. I'm really liking it. I'm hoping to get it finished in the next few days before seeing the movie. I'm super excited to see the movie. I've heard amazing things about it. I've also just started The Killer Question by Janice Hallett. This was my most recent spinny wheel pick. You can see that on YouTube Shorts or on my TikTok or on my Instagram. This was the latest one for Spinny Wheel. I was glad to get this one because I feel like I've been reading a lot of big fantasy and horror recently, which I've been absolutely loving. I love a fantasy and a horror, and I will always be excited to read those, but it's nice to have a little murder mystery palette cleanser in between. I think it'll be a nice wee change of pace. I love the way Janice Hallett's books are written. They're all written kind of mixed media. We've got messages and emails and articles, posters, and I love that kind of thing. I love mixed media book. I've read quite a few of Janice Hallett's now, and this is, I think, her most recent one. I think she's got another one coming out already. She's absolutely churning them out, so yeah, super excited to get into this. It usually is pretty quick reads because of the different kind of formatting, so yeah, going to dive into this ASAP. Really excited. I've still got my in-person book club pick for the month, which is Hekate by Nikita Gill. I'm so excited for this. I've heard amazing things about it. It's also a little bit interesting formatting because it's written in verse. As I say, I've heard so much good stuff about this. I'm so interested. I've had it on my shelf for a little while actually, so it's quite lucky that it's come up for book club. It makes me pick it up, and good timing for the Odyssey and stuff. We're really in that Greek mythology bubble right now, so super excited to read this one. It's actually my birthday week next week, turning 28. I know I don't look it, but if you can believe it, I am. And I have some time off, so maybe do a little bit of a reading vlog then. perhaps depending on what I'm blessed to receive for my special day of birth, we'll have maybe a little book haul or a little like bookshop voucher shopping trip type vibe. We'll just see what happens. I'm not expecting anything. No one has to get me anything. No one has to get me anything at all. All my other kind of reading updates and things like that, if you go over to my Instagram, I'm definitely the most active over there, with stories and little posts and my spinny wheel and everything like that. So if you want to keep up with me a little more, head to my Instagram. It's iona.library over there as well. Thank you so much everyone for joining me for another video. If you have read any of these books and you want to share your thoughts, please comment down below. I would love to chat to you. If you have any recommendations for me, if you have anything you want to see from me on here. I'm trying to be a little bit more like consistent on here. I started off kind of doing every 2 weeks, but now I'm trying to up that a little bit. I find it really fun. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, please feel free to share your thoughts with me. I would love to chat to you. And yeah, I can't wait to talk to you guys again in the next one. Bye.